Okay, so while that video was rendering, I went through and just finished out typing all these. So what we're doing is for each of these fields on our form, where the user eventually is going to go type in their data, I'm essentially doing the binding like we did with the ASP4. Remember when we did that for MVC, ASP4, this field? That's essentially what we're doing here is we're saying, hey, this field is for project name, and the value that's in it relates to this form data object for project name. And so anyway, so I'd gone through and done the project name and the project type, but I added in the regional program with its corresponding stuff. All of them get an onChange event to call that handle change method that we just built. And so anyway, it'll be the same thing for each of them, matching the name in the project's TS file. Now, when I got to impact, I noticed that I'd done type equals text, but that's not true. The type is number, so make sure to change that. But otherwise, we just follow and without you hearing me just typing away, we go in for each of these and add the type, the name, the value, and what we do when it changes. So we got through all those. And then for the form generally, we need to add, so for the form itself, we add on submit, what are we going to do? And the answer is we're going to call our method that we created for handle submit. And we could have done that in line here, but instead we chose to build a method here called handle submit. So it's just going to call this, which is going to prevent the default, so it's not going to let the website refresh, and then it's going to go await data from the add project. Now here it's getting an error saying it can't find the symbol. I need to import from my API projects API, and when I do that, it will recognize the projects API add project function that we built. All right, so I think we're about good here in terms of binding that data to that form. The other thing we want to do, though, we built this, what happens when the user cancels. So for that method, we can say on click. Then we want to call on cancel, which we built earlier. All right. So we've got this form built, but where do we actually see the form? And so we're going to do it in a different way than we've done. We could go to a new page with the form on it, but I want to show you how a lot of websites will handle it this way, where it pops up to enter the form on the same page, and you enter the information, and then it collapses as soon as you've entered the information. So that's what we want to do next. We've got the model, or the data bound to this form, so to speak. And now we're ready to pop the form component, which we've created, this new project form, onto somewhere. So I'm going to go into my admin projects page that we built that has the table in it with all the information. You remember that? And let's go in here and we'll just put it right up toward the top. So where it says admin projects, before we have the table, and I'll just put a little if statement in here that says, well, let's create a new variable first up here, a const. So this is in the admin projects page. Const, are we showing the form or are we not showing the form? So set show form, and then we have use state, and we can either in here indicate the type or we can give it a value. In this case, I'm going to give it the value of false. It's going to infer the type rather than me saying use state boolean and then false. You can let it detect the type as well by not putting something there. So if you ever see it that way, that's what it's doing. So then here we can decide whether we're going to show that form or not by saying in braces show form which holds a true or a false. So we look at show form, and here we have new project form, which is our component that we've created. And again, I'll just kind of type this out and then we'll walk through it. On success, what do we want to do? So we're going to pass into the new project form. We indicated that we're going to pass in the onSuccess and the onCancel. These are functions that we're going to do if we're successful or if the user cancels. And so if this was all in the same form, we could do it just like that. But we're putting this component, the new project form, onto the admin projects page. Then we're going to call the new form. We're going to say onSuccess. Here's what we're going to do in braces. So we do lambda function, and we say set show form equal to false. So that means hide the form if we're successful. And then we want to call a fetch projects with all the information that it needs to fetch the projects. We need the page size, the page num. So this is after we add the form. We want to go update everything, right? Page num and a blank array for categories because we're not using categories. And then after the parenthesis, we say then data set projects data.projects. Now, do I expect that you would just come up with this on your own? I don't. I mean, after a little while, obviously you start programming for a while, I might expect it. But for now, I wouldn't be able to come up with this on my own. This is something that, as I was saying, how do we do this? Then it popped up this code for me, and I went through and I made some changes and tweaks based on what I understood. The question is, can you read it? Can you see what it's doing? That's the important part, right? All right, so we're going to call that set projects data. Let's see. Closing parenthesis, semicolon. And then I need another brace, I think. No. Okay, so we got an opening there, which is closing that one. Opening here. Where's the closing brace for that one? Well, that should be there. But then we also want to say something's not right here. New project form onSuccess, set show form equal to false, semicolon, fetch projects, page size, page num, current page, then data, there we go. That's what's being passed in. Lambda function set projects to data projects. Okay. Nothing is more riveting than sitting here watching me figure out braces, which you've done quite a bit in this set of videos. I am struggling with trying to get this right. Where is my closing? I know we're going to have, the point is we're going to have the onSuccess and the onCancel. So we're still going to be inside this new project form. And that's supposed to be a parenthesis. That's my issue. That's a parenthesis. And we're going to have a closing parenthesis. Down before this brace. Man, I'm sorry, I'm trying to hurry, and I've got some dumb error here, and you're saying, yeah, this is our life when we're writing code, and I'm saying, yes, you're right. So we have an opening brace for the onSuccess. The closing brace for the onSuccess is going to come obviously after all this stuff is done. We've got 3 different statements inside of there. We set show form equal to false. We call a fetch projects, which includes this data. I'm missing another opening parenthesis there. Arrow function set projects, data projects, and then we have our closing brace there. Okay, looking at the clock. We're going to stop it there, and I'm going to figure out this braces stuff while the video is rendering, and then we'll continue on in the next video. Spencer, out.